Mike Mayfield's December just got a lot brighter. Wednesday, the Buccaneers opened 21-day practice windows for two wide receivers who matter, Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan, clearing the way for both to ramp back into team reps and very possibly be activated from IR before the stretch run. That's significant on the surface, and when you dig into matchups, play design, and roster construction, it could materially change how Tampa Bay finishes the season. Reuters, what actually happened, short version. Ian Rappaport first reported the moves. Evans' practice window was opened and he returned to practice. McMillan's 21-day window was opened as well. The team later confirmed both were practicing. That starts a 3-week countdown during which the Bucs must decide whether to activate each player to the 53-man roster. X, formerly Twitter, why this matters. Schematic and matchup impact. 1. Restores the deep threat and spacing engine. Mike Evans is not just a top target, he changes defensive rules. His ability to occupy safeties and win contested catches forces defenses to respect the vertical seams. Without Evans, opponents could compress the box, overload underneath coverage, and dare Baker Mayfield to beat them with intermediate timing throws. Evans, back in the rotation, immediately widens defensive focus and creates cleaner run-and-play action windows. Multiple outlets confirmed Evans' medical clearance and return to practice. Reuters 2 returns a reliable chain mover/finish option. Jalen McMillan flashed in year 1 as a possession zone manipulation threat, a different profile from Evans, but complementary. McMillan can work the intermediate levels, win on quick timing, and help against heavy boxes. Pairing him with Chris Godwin and Evans gives Mayfield 3 distinct targets who demand different coverages, which is the simplest way to neutralize playoff-level passing defenses. 2. Fixes schematics that had to be simplified. With fewer weapons available earlier in the year, Todd Bowles and the offensive staff often leaned conservative. Quick reads, less air under routes, more predictable formations. Reintroducing Evans and McMillan allows the offense to re-expand route trees, shots off play action, true 3WR spacing sets, vertical seams to stress single high looks, which should make the attack less telegraphed and more difficult for opponents to load the box. Multiple news reports emphasized Evans' role and the coaching staff's optimism about the step. NBC Sports timing, limitations, and realistic expectations. The practice window opens. It doesn't automatically mean both play this Sunday. The 21-day window gives the team time to evaluate conditioning, route timing, and contact tolerance. Expect a cautious ramp, limited reps in week 1 of the window, increased volume in week 2, and then a decision in week 3. Reuters and NFL reports confirmed the window and the team's ability to activate within that span. Reuters, don't expect full tilt usage day 1. Even elite players need a week or 2 to resync with timing, especially wide receivers and quarterbacks who rely on split-second route depth chemistry. Baker Mayfield and his coaching staff will be careful. Evans's long-term value is greater than 1 game. The smart plan, rotate them in, let Evans stretch the field early, then increase snap share. Baker Mayfield's shoulder and health will factor. Mayfield has been managing a shoulder issue. Team reporters have noted limited reps in recent practices. A healthier target group helps Baker by creating higher percentage reads, but his own availability and comfort will determine how aggressive the play calling becomes. Rappaport's updates on practice participation across the roster suggest the staff is balancing both the quarterbacks and receivers ramp. X, formerly Twitter. What this means for the rest of December 1. Short term, the Saints game this weekend now looks qualitatively different. Even if Evans and McMillan are limited, their presence forces defensive coordinators to game plan differently. Less stacked boxes, more single high shells, which in turn helps the run game and play action for Bucky Irving and the interior O-line. 2, medium term, the NFC South math is tight. The Bucs had a 3-game skid, but wins with a healthier receiving room drive offensive efficiency that matters in close games. Getting Evans and McMillan back before the final third of the season increases the team's upside in close, late-game situations where contested catches and vertical shots flip win probability. 3, long-term, Evans' return changes offseason calculus. Financially and on roster construction, returning a star to full form alters how the front office approaches next spring. That's less immediate, but worth noting. When a franchise icon like Evans is on the field, it stabilizes game planning and player development. Social media pulse what fans and analysts are saying. Across X, Reddit, and team message boards, the reaction is expectedly loud and positive. Bucs fans celebrated, analysts pointed to schematic freedom and improved play action, and offensive analysts emphasized the psychological lift for a sometimes sputtering passing game. A few cautious voices reminded everyone that recovery timelines and snap counts matter and urged patience. Rappaport's tweet and Reuters' NFL reports drove that immediate social burst. X, formerly Twitter. Bottom line, concise. This isn't just a depth chart update, it's a schematic inflection point. Opening practice windows for Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan gives Baker Mayfield more tools, forces opponents to defend vertically, and re-unlocks play designs. Tampa Bay shelved without its top weapons. The Bucs should be incrementally better immediately and materially more dangerous if both are activated and healthy within the 21-day window. Watch how the snaps are distributed over the next 2 weeks. That will tell you whether this is a single game boost or a season-defining return. Reuters, if you want, I can now pull and timestamp the best social reactions, X Reddit threads for sound bites, draft a sick 8-minute spoken script version, camera ready, that matches your channel's voice, build a short explainer graphic, 3 slides showing how Evans McMillan changed play call probabilities. Which of those would you like next? IDAID 5923 standard. Baker Mayfield finally has the kind of December news every quarterback prays for. The cavalry is coming. The Buccaneers spent a month patching holes, losing bodies, and trying to survive long enough to stay on top of the NFC South. They snapped their 3-game skid with a gritty 2017 win over the Cardinals, but it never felt sustainable. Not without their stars, not without their weapons. Now everything changes. Jalen McMillan, the second-year breakout wideout who fractured his neck in 3 places during the preseason, is officially back in the building with his practice window open. 12 games gone, a recovery that wasn't supposed to happen this fast, and suddenly the Bucs are getting a dynamic route runner with juice and timing right when the offense needs a spark the most. And that was just part 1, because then came the bombshell. Mike Evans, the franchise pillar and the engine of Tampa Bay's downfield attack, has also been medically cleared. His practice window is open. A broken clavicle from week 7 healed faster than expected. The moment he steps back onto the field, defensive coordinators have to rewrite their entire game plan. This is the turning point. For weeks, Baker's been playing behind a rotating cast, trying to keep the offense afloat while opponents packed the box, sat on underneath routes, and dared the Bucs to beat them with receivers who weren't built for that role. Now he gets Evans stretching the field, McMillan attacking leverage, Chris Godwin stabilizing the short game, and Bucky Irving bringing balance to the run game. For the first time since mid-October, Baker gets to operate a real offense again, not survival mode. Carolina has made things uncomfortable by winning 3 of their last 5, but with Tampa Bay getting healthy at the right time, the division once again tilts back toward the Bucs. These aren't just routine activations, these are season-shifting returns. The Bucs are finally getting their firepower back, and with it, Baker Mayfield suddenly has a real chance to close out the NFC South on his terms.